program coordinator for the Integrative Professional Studies program, and that is also an online degree program. So I've had quite a bit of experience with online learning. One of the first things I want to do is just bring to your attention, and everybody can see my screen, yes? Okay. Um, it's funny, I'm an online professor, but I don't do it synchronous, right? I do it asynchronous. I do it, which is very different than doing it live. So I thank my support staff here. But I think one of the first things is if you're brand new to SUNY Oswego and online, especially this semester, there is help to learn how to use Brightspace, which is our learning management system. We switched to Brightspace about a year ago, and believe me, we've all had quite a big shift, and it's been a lot of learning for all of us. So um, those of us, especially who are a little older, we might, we got people in the waiting room there, Maggie. Um, we need help too. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And the first thing is when you're in Brightspace as a student, you will see across the navigation bar, there's tutoring resources there. And under the tutoring resources, you'll see Track Cloud. In Track Cloud, you can click on that and you can actually make appointments to talk to a technology assistant in the Office of Learning Services. If you are on campus or have access to SUNY Oswego, you can actually go to 112, 114 Penfield Library and talk to a technology assistant or make an appointment. So learning how to navigate Brightspace is for someone who's never done it. If you're an adult learner coming back to school for the first time in 40 years or something, it can be overwhelming, and we understand that. However, your professors are not the tech experts. Okay, we really can't offer a whole lot of support. We don't see what you see always, and so don't be afraid to reach out. The other thing is the D2L Brightspace community is online. If you just Google that, you will find it. And again, it's another place to ask questions. So I think it's always good, though, to sort of stay local and get the help that you might need. Okay. All right. So when we talk about being a successful online learner, you're going to hear a lot about time management. And I know most of you are, adults, many of you have families, some of you are working full-time, part-time, but I can't emphasize enough how important it is to manage your time and to plan out your time. I don't know how you want to manage and plan your time. Is it an old-fashioned, calendar that you write on with your, I need a month at a glance. I'm looking at, January there, that's last year, 2023. I need to see the whole month and see what's coming up 2 weeks down the road, or if my, kid had a soccer game, or I have a wedding to go to. Where does all my work that I'm taking fit into that? Some people manage with Post-it notes. Some people think they can keep it in their head. Some people write on their hand. I've been known to do all three of those. So what works for you is important, but what is really important is you have to keep some type of calendar. Speaking of calendars, if you go into Brightspace, and this is my screen, in the left-hand menu over here is what's called upcoming events. And hopefully you know this by now, but maybe your professor doesn't use this. I would hope they do. It's something you might want to put in course evaluations if they're not using it. But it's really helpful. If you go to upcoming events, you click on that and you come to this screen and you can do the whole full schedule. Again, if your professor has, uploaded all the dates, and even better yet, if they've used the checklist function, and I'll talk briefly about that in a little bit, you should be able to see all the due dates for your whole semester. And I always tell people, first day, open up that full schedule. And like if you click, like I clicked on September 4th, this is what then opens up. There's module 1, discussion post is due. All right, 11:59 p.m. Write that stuff down in your calendar. It's really important. So, back to calendaring, some people use Google calendars. You might, I don't know what you do, but use something to plan. And as I state here, read those upcoming events, put all the due dates, all the group meetings, all the assignments, whatever you have in your calendar until, end of finals in May. All right. It may drive your family nuts if you have big calendars all over the place, but hey, you've got to do what you've got to do to succeed. All right. And keep track of that. Any questions so far on calendaring? I see something in the chat. I just wanted to Okay, we're all good.
Uh,
All right,
I had a question.
please jump in. Hi.
Hi. Um, where you just were, was that for all courses or was that for each individual course that you were um
This, oh,
um
where am I
when
going?
you were going on the calendar? No, yeah, that
This.
part there.
Well, good question.
I mean, is
And
that
this,
typically for an individual course or
it
does it
should be. No,
okay,
it's for,
okay,
yeah, it's for each class. So
okay,
this is one of my classes.
okay.
And tell me your first name, please. I don't see.
Brett,
Brett. Hi, Brett.
hi.
Um, so are you taking one class, multiple
I'm
courses,
taking 3 courses. Yeah,
3 online?
yeah,
First time with us?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
I mean,
jumping in with both.
I mean,
Yeah.
and you've never used Bright Space
No,
probably.
yeah,
And have
yeah.
you ever taken an online class?
No, no.
Oh my gosh. Either I clap
I'll take it.
or I say I'm sorry.
I'll take both. I'll take it all. Yeah,
And are you working?
I am. Yeah, working, have family, all
Oh
that
my
stuff. So
gosh.
yeah,
Okay, here we go.
yeah.
This is for you. Um,
I'll take all
so
the help I can get. Yeah.
what's your major?
CTE, the
Oh, a career and
career
technical ed. Okay.
tech ed. Yeah,
I'm not supposed to talk about, I'm a professor. I'm not supposed to talk, but they tend to be pretty well organized.
yeah.
Um, I'm not going to ask who you have, but yeah. So each class
Yep,
in that left-hand menu, you should be able to go to upcoming events, click
yep,
on it, and then this opens up and it should have, this is not live, this is a screenshot.
yep.
So it should have the full schedule, or you can just go to upcoming and it gives you the next 7 days.
Yeah,
I'm saying that, but I'm also going to say it all depends what your professor has set up.
yeah. I have noticed they all do things differently. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep,
You would think we all do things the same.
yep.
People on this campus would love that, but that's not how professors work.
Right.
Um, and we know that and we apologize. I don't know.
That's
It's just, it's who
that's
we are.
normal. Yeah, it's
It's
natural.
normal.
Sure.
We don't talk to each other about our planning and our scheduling and nobody, we don't say, oh, when are your tests? We
Yeah.
don't. So, okay. So great
I
question.
I get,
Thank
yeah,
you.
sorry, just to expand on that question. So when you do that and you want to put it into a calendar, you're basically taking each course separately and putting it into your calendar.
Correct. There's no,
Okay,
that's a really great question because people have said, oh, is there some way to, Cranthi is our tech
right.
GA down there. I don't know if he knows, but there's no way that it ties into your Google Calendar or your
Okay,
Microsoft that I'm aware of. So
okay,
yeah, you're like typing it in or writing it in.
okay,
Okay. If you're an 18-year-old, you're thinking it's on your watch and in your head, you don't write it anywhere. But
right.
for those of us who aren't, sorry if there's anybody, nobody should be 18 on this call. So
Yeah, I'm putting everything on paper. I'm like, yeah.
that's okay. I mean,
I
I,
printed
I,
things out. I'm
I
like,
live on
yeah,
sticky notes and
same
I
here.
do a lot of that. Index cards. So,
Hmm.
but I do have to, I prefer, again, month at a glance.
Hmm.
This right now, the Google one, that's a week. That just overwhelms me. But, some people are that tightly scheduled. So whatever works for you. So here's another thing. Let's talk about planning. And I do want to move along a little bit here, but thank you. And please keep
Yeah.
asking questions. This is great. Um, you have to schedule time and you got to put in your calendar of when you're going to study. And I say study, I mean, you're going to read, you're going to do assignments, you're going to maybe have to do group, you may have to, in my integrated professional studies program, part of it is to become a remote learner. So they have to actually do some group work. I mean, that's a real pain when you're working and you got kids and, when are you going to meet? It may be 11 p.m. It may be 6 a.m. It may be during a break at noon. I don't know. So but you've got to put study time in that calendar. And for planning purposes, you should, like if you were sitting in a class, we usually say 1 hour in class, which is equal to like 2 to 3 hours outside of class, studying and reading, doing assignments. Okay. So you typically take a 3 credit course. You should think about spending 6 to 9 hours a week on that course, learning how to navigate, reading, writing assignments, doing discussion posts, and maybe in CTE, it's lesson planning. I mean, whatever you're doing. Some people say, I've never spent that much time. Okay, well, great. But then I do have students who are like, I ask them to show me their calendar if they're not doing well, or I'm like, and they're like, well, I look at it the night it's due. I'm like, it's not gonna work. That it might have worked in high school, maybe even community college, but it's not gonna work here. So, okay. Maggie, did you have something?
So I wrote a couple of
Okay.
things in the chat. Looking for advice was one of the questions that was put ahead by students. So, you know, they're looking for the general advice,
Yep,
tips,
I'm
pointers.
gonna, yep, we're gonna get there.
Yep. And then I just added that, at least for me on my own calendar, to help me through the day, I like the 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock blocks. I start working at 8. I put notes there, like, you know, 6:30 to 7. I'll put a couple of reminders of what's important for me that day, like what might be number 1 and number 2, just to help me
Right.
and not forget that I need to get those 2 things done on that day,
Great.
just as a tip.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So back to the planning, if you're taking 15 credits, that's a 30 to 40 hour work week of studying, planning,
Mhm.
writing. So you're taking 9 credits, I'm hearing, right, Brett? I mean,
Yeah, yep.
that's a lot. And maybe you
It-
don't need that much time. It all depends. Everybody's
Yeah, I'm
different.
finding it's more involved than I expected, but
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Plan, schedule, as I said, all your due dates. Did I go the right direction? Yeah. Okay. But you also need to plan sleep. Okay. Sleep is huge, and you start to fail and not, and fall apart and get irritable with your family and get sick. So you got to plan sleep. You got to plan some family and caretaking time. You got your job. I tell everybody to go out and walk outside in daylight for at least 30 minutes a day with nothing else, with no people, no phone, just clear your mind. It's good exercise. I'm a health and wellness person. I got to say that. You got to plan your commuting if you're commuting to work or whatever, appointments. You might during the semester, and this is, I think, what a lot of people, I'm always amazed when I hear people who are binging and watching them, like, my God, I didn't watch TV for, 25 years. It's not until my kids have left home and stuff that I'm like, I didn't have time. So you might need to limit some stuff. Okay. And you have to prioritize. You also, I never tell people to multitask, but you might have to. If you're commuting or walking or sitting in the doctor's office with your kid waiting to go, maybe you can listen to a lecture on your phone. Maybe you can talk to your family while you're driving in the car because you haven't talked to them all week because you don't see them. So think about how you can do those kind of things. Getting back to just starting the course, starting the semester, I can't, this is one of my classes. This is what I'd call the landing page. You have to probably spend a couple hours when you start a new course and just read over all the section. Anything that they have open, click on it and read it. Okay. Don't wait. And I always have a start here, course information area. And that has the syllabus and that has the grading policy and how to contact me. So I'm always amazed when people are like, well, I don't know how to get in touch with you. Well, that's because you didn't read it. The other thing is you have widgets. These are little areas that expand. And this one is about announcements. Like this one, I didn't expand yet, but I communicate with my class through announcements. So you might want to open up that announcement widget if that's how your professor is sending announcements out. That should also come to your email as well. And this calendar that we saw earlier pops up here as well. So that can be helpful. So back to sort of someone asked about general tips. Typically for an online class, we as professors are told that we have to open up our course a week before classes start. That's a struggle for a lot of us, but we try. So you might always want to check because there's a preview week that you can get on early and at least take a little peek at the class. You may not see all of it. People don't open up the whole class. They might just open up a piece at a time, but hopefully you can see that upcoming events, that calendar, and you can get a feel for like, oh, look what I have due and start thinking about that. Put that in your calendar, read. I can't explain this enough. Read all the course information, read that syllabus cover to cover, read how you communicate with them. I will not respond to email from my students. They have to go through Brightspace. And that's because, and I'm thinking about Star Madison in CTE. Have you had her, Brett?
No.
Okay. She has like
I-
5 online classes, and she's like, I can't do email with people. It just gets lost. I'm like, yeah, I can't either. So
Okay, I have a question on that,
Sure.
actually. Like, I see an email section in Brightspace. Is
It's-
that separate from the regular email or is that the same?
so it's that little envelope in the navigation bar. Yeah.
Like if I wanted to email professor,
It's a Brightspace communication email. So
okay,
yes, it is different. So if you want to send an email to your professor, and well, I should be able to I can't pull it up right now. In that little envelope, you go in there and first of all, there's instant message and there's email.
Yeah,
Make sure
yep.
you're on email.
Mhm.
And then that's going to go to like, you're in, is it CTE? No, you're in tech ed.
CTE, yeah.
UTE. So it's, Jan Woodworth, it says learning or something because it's in the Brightspace thing. She will
Okay.
get an email. It will come to her SUNY Oswego email, but she can't respond in her SUNY Oswego email. She has to go back into Brightspace and respond. It's kind of clunky like that. Same with
Okay.
you. So here's the thing. If you get email from Brightspace in your SUNY Oswego email and you click reply, we never see anything. We don't get it. You have to go into Brightspace to reply to
Okay.
that email. So always kind of hover over and see, where did that email come from? Did it come from their Oswego email, or does it says something like SUNY Learning? And then you're like, that's Brightspace email. So you have to go in, because some students said, my God, I kept writing to you, Dr. B, and you never replied. I said,
Okay.
did you write in the Brightspace? So it's a separate system. Yes.
That's the same place that like the notifications and things like that come from, like the,
Correct.
okay.
And if I have time, I will try to pull up my course and show you. Okay. The other thing that's kind of cool that a lot of us have started using is checklists. Any of your professors use checklists? Have you seen that?
I think so.
It's something we're kind of advocating faculty do. Checklists provide an opportunity for you to see everything that's due in that module, and it ties into the calendar. So it's just another prompt for students. A lot of faculty are not using it yet.
Is that part of the thing that says, you have this % of the work done, like when you're checking off the boxes,
Yeah.
gives you a
Yeah.
percentage of what's.
I didn't know it. See, I didn't know it
completed?
I didn't know it gave you percentages. I don't see
So
that.
like there's like a little bar, I
Oh,
think, underneath,
okay.
like you had those modules before, and then there's a little bar that
Yeah.
kind of,
See, this is what's weird
yeah.
about Brightspace. You
It
see
might look
something
different on
different.
each end. I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely. But that
Okay.
sounds like it. Yeah. Another thing I really think students need to do is you need to cross-check assignments between what the module says, what the upcoming event calendar says, and what the syllabus says. I mean, we have to put that stuff into like 3 places. Let me tell you, it's tough on our end. I mean, I wasn't trained to do this, it's something I have to learn. And so every semester we have to kind of go and make sure those modules line up with the syllabus, lines up with the calendar. We make mistakes, we screw up. So to save yourself, a lot of times students will write to me, they say, oh, here it says February 18th and here it says February 15th. I'm like, oh man, okay, thank you. So I think it's always good for students to check that just to make sure you got the right dates. Same thing, check how grading is happening. I weight my grades. A lot of people just have point systems. Okay. But look how that works. So in my class, some of my classes, discussion may be 50%, papers are 40%, and 10% quizzes. Again, I'm always amazed that people don't read that. And then they're like, why am I flunking your class? I got 100 on the quizzes. I'm like, quizzes are like nothing. The discussion was 50%. You didn't do them all, So really look at what is being graded and evaluated. Couple other things. If there are quizzes, I personally don't do high stakes assessment testing and quizzes. I don't, but I do a couple little quizzes. But you have to assume usually quizzes. I mean, I know some people in math and stuff, oh, they're not open book. I mean, how do you not make it open book? I mean, I don't know. But most quizzes are open book, but you should or find out. And are there multiple attempts? All right. I think traditionally we think you take a test or quiz once, but in some courses there's multiple attempts. There's like a mastery level, and you'll keep taking it till you get 80%, because some of us want you to learn. We don't want you to just, regurgitate, try, fail, and forget. We want you to learn. So read that carefully or ask those questions. If you have a timed quiz and you're allowed notes, plan for having notes to help you with that timed quiz. Typically, quizzes are just making sure that you're reading. It's like an accountability check, Read and use grading rubrics. I'm a big rubric user for papers, discussions, assignments. Look at that ahead of time. Read them carefully. If you have questions, ask the professor. Read and follow directions every time for every assignment. They can be different. They can change. We don't plan with each other. I've had students say to me, oh my gosh, you're so formal in your discussions and you make us use APA citations, and this person we chat. And I said, yeah, I know. So I'm always trying to say this is a formal discussion. It's because I have a writing intensive course. So the discussion becomes writing intensive. So find out what they expect, the professor expects. If they have office hours online or ask to Zoom with them, do it early and often. Don't wait, okay, for help. And this back to this, we have this Office of Learning Support, and I just learned this week, that they can help with technology assistance. That's great. That's new this fall, which is if you have some real difficult bright space questions, they can help you. All right. Now, if you need tutoring, like with content, math, or it's harder in the specific content areas, but sort of general education courses, we have tutoring in person and online. It's called Thinking Storm Online. They can also help with writing papers. You can submit papers, but don't wait till 5 minutes before. There's Ask a Librarian at the librarian if you have questions about how to do research. So, again, give yourself plenty of time so you can use these resources, and they are available online to our online learners.
I'm sorry, who did you say was the specific bright space tech questions?
I'll go back. That was the
Oh.
first slide right here. Technology assistance, tutoring
Okay.
appointments, Office of Learning Support.
Okay.
You can get there through this track cloud on the
Okay.
over here under tutoring services.
Yep.
So if you go to track cloud, that will allow you to make an appointment with them, or I would just call them,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go to their website and the information is there, email, phone number.
Well, no, Maggie, they prefer the students to go through tutoring resources.
Oh, to
right,
the tutoring resources.
right on the
Okay.
Bright Space page. Yep.
Oh, right directly there.
It's right
instead of
there
the
on
other
Bright.
one.
It's like,
Okay.
this is the picture I have there is like what the student sees, and it's in Bright
Okay.
Space, and it says tutoring resources. And if you open the up, well, there
It'll
is
come
Office
up.
of, there's Track Cloud, or you could go to the Office of Learning Support. They're all under that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But calling too, yeah, like you said, right? Calling them directly to make
I'm
an
still there?
appointment.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes. Yep.
All right, Siri is talking. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I got Siri talking at me all of a
oh,
sudden.
okay, yeah, we can hear
I-
you. Okay,
I-
yeah, that's fine then, so
I hit
you
something.
could call.
Okay, and again, submit your work early and on time. Most of my work is due at 11:55 p.m. on a Sunday or a Tuesday. And it's amazing, there's computer glitches. Tonight we're having wind problems, Don't wait till the last minute if you can. Get things on. All right, I got 6 minutes left supposedly.
Yep, 6 minutes.
Online discussion forums and papers, and I can stick around. But always read the directions each time. They may change. So I know in my class, sometimes you have to respond to one person, sometimes you have to respond to 2 people. And, maybe I should be more consistent with that. But again, read directions every time, read each prompt carefully. These prompts are really how we as professors, as teachers, are trying to see if you can demonstrate your learned knowledge. If you have discussions, I usually tell my students, or a paper, use the prompts, right, as the sections of your discussion, or as the sections. So if you have a discussion and there's a couple questions that you are being asked, I call those questions prompts. Make sure you just answer in, make those. If you have to, take the prompt and put it in your paper or put it in your discussion and use those sections just so you answered each one. I'm always amazed that people lose points because they don't answer each of the prompts. Like, oh, I didn't see it. I'm like, how'd you not see it? Like, they're right there. But granted, I think I'm organized, but maybe I'm not. Some faculty are terribly organized. All right. So make sure you answer each prompt. I would just cut and paste it into there unless somebody complains about it. And these are my examples. Like, do you reply to 1 classmate? Do you reply to 2? Is there a word count? I have a word count on my discussions. They have to have 300 word count on the post and 150 word count on the reply. And that doesn't include the prompt. All right. That's your material only. How do you have to cite things? APA or MLA? And citation is tough for those of us who have been out of school for a long time. And I like to use Purdue OWL. Perdue. It's from University of Purdue. Purdue OWL is a good website to go look at. Penfield Library at Oswego also has information on that. A couple other things to think about. Is your discussion paper formal or your paper, is this a formal, professional, or is it sort of a chit-chatty, informal? Same thing with your paper. Is it a research paper? Is it just an informative paper, make sure you understand that when you write. Do you need to demonstrate that you read the material and watch the videos and you can apply the new knowledge? With online, we're not having these real-time discussions like we might have in class. So you've got to demonstrate to us in paper or your writing or your discussions that you've read and watched the material and that you understand it and you can apply it maybe in a new setting or a new situation. So make sure you're always referring back to what the assigned readings and materials were. I get really cranky about that in my class. And if anybody's in my class, they know that already, because it's real easy for students to go out and Google something or even throw it into Chat GPT and come up with something and throw it and write it up. And I'm like, but you didn't answer the question. Oh, and the question was based on the module materials in my module. So you get caught every time because you didn't answer the question or you didn't refer to the assigned materials in that module specifically. Okay. All right. At the end, I just want to say, you got this, relax. It will get easier, and that's easy for me to say, but I'm always learning as well. When in doubt, Google, say Brightspace, just go Google. Like I find Vanderbilt University pops up a lot. When I, as an instructor, have problems with Brightspace and I can't get help immediately, I just Google something. And Vanderbilt, like there's certain schools that pop up all the time that have really great help information online. So don't be afraid to Google, Brightspace online learning questions if that's what you're hung up on. But also reconsider how many classes is really realistic for you. Is it realistic to work a 40-hour work week and have kids and have a family and have a relationship with a partner that still likes you in 15 weeks? It's know when the withdrawal date is, know, how that impacts you with financial aid, because it could if you're using financial aid. And to really, I find a lot of my adult learners, many of them, I'm taking 5 classes and I work 40 hours a week. I'm like, don't, it's good. But I understand that for many people, they need certain credits for financial aid, but I'm like, it's not going to work. It's just not going to, you're not going to have a good experience and you won't remember much and you may get divorced in the end. I don't know. So we want you to be happy. And don't be afraid to ask for help and ask often and early. Okay. From your professors, from your classmates. I have found many times, because I have students doing group work, that the younger students tend to be good with the technology and the digital stuff. And if there's any chance you can actually, if you know anybody's name from a discussion, you could put it in that Brightspace email and it will find them. Like, like you start typing Sandy and I'm in your class, it'll fill in the rest. And you could say, hey, I saw in this discussion, you did something with technology. I have a question, I wonder if you could help me. They may write back and be very helpful. They may not. But, slow and steady gets it done. Don't try to cram too much in. I think that's really important. I want to stop talking. It is 7:30, but are there any other questions that I have not addressed? Oh, Danielle says one of your teachers have checklists. Oh, I was going to see if I could show you that, except I can't get out of here. Can I take another minute? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have I have a Zoom question. I've never done a group Zoom meeting before.
Is this your first?
Yeah, well, first group Zoom, yeah.
Okay.
Like if I wanted to ask a question like we're doing, is it better to do the little chat question or vocalize it? That's
Well, I would ask. I'm of the age where I can't. We were just talking about this before. I can't look
okay.
at a chat and talk and
Okay.
do all this. But there's also a little thing called raise your hand somewhere. If you look at it, I don't know why it's not
Oh
showing
yeah.
up now.
Okay.
But you can sometimes raise your hand. But when I'm in these big meetings with tons of people, I
Yep.
personally can't. I can't see it all. I can't do
Okay.
that. So in groups like this, I appreciate that you just started talking, because that's what I
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I wasn't sure and I saw the chat thing, so I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
some people are really good with the chat and can monitor and use it. I think everybody's a little different, but again, always ask what, typically, and I didn't probably do a good job. Well, I did. I said, you can raise your hand. I said, you can use the chat.
I
But
came in late, so sorry, yeah.
Okay. But some people will be like, if you have a question, you must raise your hand. Some people
Okay.
are really. So anyways, can you see my,
Yep.
my Brightspace screen right now real quick?
Yep.
So, I put a checklist and I'll just click it and see, this is what a checklist, that's not what it looks like for the student, but it tells them it's just showing them what they have due. Okay, let me see if I put it into the student. I can put this in a student view and sometimes I got to go back to the beginning.
Yep, that looks like our view, yeah.
That looks like your view. Here's a checklist. Let me see if it
Yeah, that's
looks
that
different.
bar I was talking about, that the bar that
Oh,
kind of.
there, okay, it is the whole complete thing. And so I
Mhm.
can check it off. So but that's only if your professor has built that. Okay. But students love it. So it's something you might suggest they do, but it takes some learning and time, but it helps. All right. Other thoughts or questions?
Can I say something
Okay.
really quick? Not to
Alicia,
steal too much
please,
of your time.
sure.
I used to teach an academic success course, and organizing oneself was the big thing, just as Miss Sandy had said over there. We definitely recommend Google. If you use Google, our whole campus uses Google for everything, so it's, very easily accessible. I'm not sure if I can share a screen. I'm going to try. If someone gets asked, if you wouldn't mind. Excellent. Okay, let me just cancel that. Didn't mean for that to pop up. I have a really neat tool called My Study Life right here. This is another online scheduling tool that I can't recommend enough. The students loved it. They quickly adopted it. You can sign in on your desktop and create a free account, and then you can also download the app so that it's on your phone. If you're the type of person who likes to receive alerts when things are due or reminders that things are coming, it will do that for you. Once you sign in, this is kind of like your dashboard right here. And it saves it from year to year. So it's really nice if you start resume writing when you become a senior, and you need to remember, okay, well, when did I join the soccer club? When did I join this club? You can actually like put your calendar on here, which you can color code and make very pretty so you know where you're supposed to be at what time. But you can quickly go in and then update your resume because everything gets saved from year to year. One of my other favorite things, when you're working on things, you can kind of keep yourself on task by telling yourself how far along, how finished you are with that project by using the little slide rule right here. Tells you how many tasks you have coming up. You can plug in where all your classes are, when your exams are, all in here. This is really neat, completely free. If you like those check boxes, they definitely have the tasks on there. You can enter your grades in here. You have to play around. You have to do what works for you. This is one that my students just happen to love, and it's free.
Thank
And
you,
do you
Alicia.
Do you manually enter everything in? Your
Yes.
Okay.
So the first week of class, you may hear, is often called syllabus week. And I think you should take that and run with it. You use that week to take each of your syllabi and plug it into whatever calendar works for you. If you just take the time right after you get out of class, put in all your assignments, your test dates, when the breaks are, and whatnot, it will save you a lot of headache later. And again, whatever calendar you choose to use, that's really great.
And I
Yeah.
think especially as, adults with, families and work, again, I guess that's why I like the bigger picture because I can just see like, oh my gosh, this third week is going to be nuts. So, my partner is taking everybody to soccer this week. I'm out, so. But, all right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And is there an evaluation they're supposed to fill out or something? I don't. or maybe-
So I just wanted to make
Okay.
a quick announcement.
Please.
First of all, thank you everyone
Yes.
and the students for their time and coming here tonight. And also, we do prizes for each of the sessions. So the three persons that are here tonight will put that into a drawing and one of you will get a prize. So look for an email from our office or from Melissa for that prize. But yeah, this has been great. And if there's anything else that we did not address here tonight, feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to answer via email or, whichever way is convenient for you. And see how we can support you and help you moving forward. But yeah, that's all that I have.
Val, and I see Val there in the chat. Good to see you, Val. Val's in my class. So thank you again,
Great.
everyone. Brett, nice meeting you. Good luck.
Good to meet you. Thank you very much.
Well,
Okay,
thank
take
you.
care.
Time.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.